Alright, Rich here from the RCNetwork, and I wanted to give you guys a after first run review of the MIP Pro4mance Kit for the SCTE. But I got a little selfish. I wanted a second day to run this thing to really kind of fine tune some of the issues I had on the first day. Now, I'll go over all the specifics, towards the middle end of the video, but the main reason was I was like 40 miles away from my house and I didn't have a couple of things that I needed on that first day. So I stretched it out to running 2 days. The first day I ran for probably about 3 or 4 hours. I went through probably 3 or 4 packs. And the second day I was there for, God, like 7-8 hours and really got to enjoy this truck. Here's some of the differences I saw, and you have to remember, if you don't know what I've ran before, take a look at some of the previous videos. But basically, SCTE, all decked out in all the TLR stuff. Had the TLR chassis, and I'll show that a little bit later on as well. And all the TLR goodies to make this truck perform. And here's the difference. And a lot of the guys at the track were stopping by my pit box, and they were checking out the truck. This truck draws attention, especially with that white chassis. So expect, if you purchase one, people are going to be asking you questions. So the first thing I noticed when I was on the track was it's lighter, like a lot. It really felt a lot lighter on the track. Thus, you don't need as much torquey motor, and that's kind of the issue I had later on. The second thing I noticed, turns on a dime. Maybe I got lucky with my setup, but I felt like I had a lot more steering just out of the gate without fine-tuning anything. And the third thing was, obviously, with a lighter truck, you got more horsepower. So, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. Let's take the shell off, and I painted up a brand new shell for this truck, and I was real hesitant to run it at first because, keep in mind, this is a brand new truck as far as suspension, everything, and I didn't want to take it out of the gate and start flipping it over and damage the hell out of this brand new shell. So I did run my old shell for the first few laps until I felt comfortable to put on the brand new one, and I ran the brand new one ever since. So a little bit beat up right now, nothing major, no tears, nothing at all. The Flowtech has been doing awesome. I felt really no advantage of the wings in the rear, but it looks pretty cool, so you got to go with that. Let's take the shell off. You guys can see inside. I have not cleaned anything inside except for my wheels and tires. I clean those at the end of every time I run. So you're seeing here is pretty much the way it looked when I pulled it off the track a couple days ago. So it has really performed. I'm really happy with it. The biggest advantage, like I said, it's just a lot lighter. I think when I got everything weighed, I probably lost about 130 grams from my previous truck. And keep in mind, I dumped some serious dollars into lightening up that TLR truck that I had. So here it is. The probably thing you may notice right away is I'm not running a cowling. For some reason, I didn't run it. I brought it with me. I thought I would install it, and I ran a couple laps out there and noticed nothing was getting dirty, and I left it off. So I know that there might be some aerodynamics behind the cowling. I know the first obvious thing is to keep all of the dirt and stuff off the motor and the motor mesh there, but I really didn't see a purpose on an indoor clay track to run it. So I left it off. The other thing is the way my wiring is with these wires coming up top, and I'm running some of my routing up here on the center diff. I wasn't able to actually install it, so I left it off. I guess I'm just living on the edge. So the next thing is wear and tear. That beautiful white chassis, how is it going to last up through the test of time? And now keep in mind, indoor clay track, I've probably put about 8 to 9 packs through this truck so far. And let's take a look at the bottom and see what the wear and tear is like. As you see there, looks like I got some issues right here with maybe some weight bias. because it's not on the other side. I am running the DE Racing rear skid plate, which definitely helps. And then on the front here is probably the most concerning thing, is I'm showing some silver. So that is definitely a little bit more wear than what I expected out of 8 or 9 packs, but all in all, chassis held up pretty nicely. A couple gouges here and whatnot, and keep in mind, you know, first time running the truck, and you know it's going to have a couple hiccups there. So as far as the differences between the TLR and this one, I really got to boil it down to weight, and it just feels like it turns better. I don't know if it has to do with the way the shocks are positioned. If you see here, shocks are almost standing up on end, where on the TLR it was, you know, slightly angled like any other short course truck out there. So that's basically it on my after first, or I should say second run review. Sorry guys, had to get selfish there. One of the last things that I did when I was at the track the second day, and here's some of the changes that I did make to it, and maybe you want to do it to yours, maybe you don't. I kind of had the choice between a 4000 and a 4600. I pulled my 4600 off of my outdoor rig and dropped it in the indoor rig. So as you can see here, there's a nice 4600 kV Pro4 from Tekin, and I went ahead and I left a 14 tooth on there. I wanted a little bit of leg on the straightaways, but I didn't want to drop down to a 13 or a 12. I just felt like it wasn't going to be quite enough. But really, to be honest, I had plenty of power with that 4600. The next thing I did was, I think I said in a previous video, I started with 45 weight on all 4 corners and the shocks. When I was at the track, I ended up rebuilding my fronts to 50 weight. Felt like I needed to just slow it down just a little bit, not too much. So really happy with the 50 in the front, 45 in the back. I think on Matt's setup sheet he was running 47.5 on all 4 corners, but this ended up working for me, plus I didn't have 47.5. So that is it for the after second run review. Much more to come. That's it for now, guys. If you liked the video, hit the like button. As always, if you like to subscribe, hit the subscribe. And that's it for now. Over now.